I'm being joined now by Olalekan Adebayo, a sports analyst. Olalekan, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Always a pleasure being here.
It's always a pleasure having you as well.
Thank you.
Let's start with the basic. Women's football. Everything about this time in sport has to do with women. So let's start with women's football. And for women's football, we'll be talking about the women's Euros. Yes, the WAFCON has ended, but that of the Euros is ongoing and it's into the final. Germany defeated France yesterday 2-1. What do you make of that match itself? That was the semi-final. They will be going on to play England in the final.
Of course, it was a tough match, and I also predicted. I remember the last time I came on, I predicted of France, Germany, or England, of course, winning. And those three have showed that they are actually probably one of the best, or if not the best, in the women's football national teams.
Yes.
So I think it was a good fight, but I think Germany actually, they deserved it.
You think over the course of 90 minutes, with what we saw, the Germans were the better side?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, let's project. I mean, the final is still on Sunday, but let's project that now. It's England, the host nation. They've been ruthless, scoring goals for fun against the Germans, who are also ruthless, especially in front of goal. Where's your crystal ball, turning to in terms of who gets this?
I'll go with England. I think England has been showing this kind of desire to actually get this title, and I think they should go for it. They should go for it, and they should be able to win it, because they're of course the host nation, and it should really help them in actually winning this. I think Germany has always been a winner and always
8-time champions.
So it's not. I think there will always be a zeal. When you're in the final, there's this kind of zeal, there's this kind of desire to actually get it. I think the person that puts this resilience most will probably get it. So I'm tilting towards England.
Towards England. Yes, okay, let's see how that pans out. Talking about the three Lionesses, getting that elusive Euro Championship. It will be stunning. The last edition was held in Netherlands in 2017, and the host nation won that, as well. But it's the Germans who are the dominant side when it comes to a competition. They've won a record 8 championships and are gunning for a 9th. It will be against the host nation. It will be intriguing to see how that pans out, because the English team were on the back foot for the first 15-20 minutes of their game against Sweden before they ran rampant, winning 4-0. But let's move away from there now and talk about something intriguing, and it's all about UEFA trying to bring back safe standing areas, to football, or UEFA trying to bring it to football. Remember the Premier League early this month, also decided to bring back safe standing areas to Premier League and English Football League from the coming season. So, do you think this is a step in the right direction? UEFA trying to, at least, it's a trial. It's not like they're bringing it back fully. They still have to put it, on trial before they decide if it's successful or not. But do you think this is a step in the right direction?
Yes, I think it's actually more accommodating to the fans. There's sometimes a lot of fans don't even want to sit down in a football match. Probably throughout the night team, they don't feel it even when they're standing. They don't even want to sit down actually. But also there are the dangers of probably fans entering the field or those kind of things. And probably you see it from last season as fans at some point entered the field, and that was when they were even sitting down.
Exactly.
Not when they were standing. So I think they should probably put in some better measures to actually curb that. But safe standing, I think it's good for the fans, and they'll be very happy for it.
And talking about the trial now, it must be said that the trial is being, it will be tried, the policy rather will be tried in 3 countries. That's Germany, England, and France. And that's because these countries have the necessary facilities for it. The trial will also take place only in the men's competitions for the 2022-2023 season. So your Europa League, your Conference League, that's your Europa Conference League, and your UEFA Champions League for the men will have those that trial take place, and it will be right from the group stages all the way to the semi-final. So looking at it again, for German football, it's been for so many years. I mean, Dortmund's Westphalian, area in the stadium is peculiar for the safe standing area. So it's nothing new for German football, but for England, I mean, following the, Hillsborough disaster where Liverpool's fans, 97 of them died, it will bring nostalgia, it will bring about nostalgia. I think it will be difficult for fans to entirely embrace it, but do you think the fans themselves are ready, to go this route?
Yes, of course. In football, there's always this friction between different fans of different clubs. It happens every time. That's why I said they should probably. I'm sure they will come up with measures to actually manage it. So because fans will readily accept it, they will love to accept it, but there's always that friction between fans, and probably some of the fans will have those that kind of doubt, a little bit of going to those kind of safe stands, but I think they'll readily accept it, and if the UEFA can actually manage it with bringing out good measures, it will be good for them.
Okay, let's see how that pans out. Remember, I said it's a peculiar site in the German Bundesliga, and immediately the news was announced. You had Borussia Dortmund, celebrate the decision by UEFA right there on their social media handle, Twitter precisely. So some clubs are already embracing it. It will be intriguing to see how Liverpool embrace this new measure, considering they were at the receiving end way back as in 1989 from that Hillsborough disaster, when 97 Liverpool fans died as a result of stampede from safe standing areas and what have you. But let's move away from there now and talk about the Premier League and 5 substitutions. Yes, that's the new policy, and we're just reviewing the decision because the new season will commence in earnest. And as a matter of fact, August 6th, that's when you have the season, the new Premier League season starting. But you have the curtain raiser between Liverpool and Manchester City, which is the Community Shield, taking place this in the coming days. So while looking at the 5 substitutions now, is that a good policy for the big clubs, the small clubs? What do you expect? You should hit us up on our social media handles, iBrandTV on Facebook, iBrandTV as well on Instagram, and iBrand_TV on Twitter, and let's get your reactions. But let me get yours. 5 substitutions for the big clubs. They have squad depth in squad. It's probably good news for them. The small clubs, what do you think?
The thing to me is 2 ways. Okay. The first way is of course the big clubs having squad depth, and in a game of 90 minutes or probably a game of 120 minutes, like FA Cups and all those kind of stuff, it favors the big clubs because they have this quality even on bench. On the bench. Yes, bringing in quality on the bench actually to play. But on the other side of it, the players have played a lot of games, especially from the COVID time, a lot of games, and they are still playing a lot because the World Cup is coming up. So I think these 5 substitutions actually give more players at least some a breather to rest, and so it's. That I said, it's 2 ways. Even for the small clubs, a lot of these players in the small clubs also have, they are probably starters in their national teams. Yes. So this will make it easier for them to actually have a little bit of rest for them. So I think it goes both ways. Both ways.
Okay, let's see how it pans out. It's been interesting. I mean, look at Liverpool, look at Manchester City, Community Shield. They both have the squad, they have the depth on bench. Let's see how it plays out. I'm sure that's a match that will interest you. Yes, should I put you on the spot? Who gets it? Community Shield this weekend.
I will.
Haaland, City, Liverpool.
I'm really interested to see how both of them will play with the new signings that they have, with kind of new formations they will actually play around. Man City has been a team that doesn't play with a striker. Exactly. The striker coming in means that their gameplay will change a little. So seeing that, and also Liverpool didn't really play with a striker also. They played with 3 wingers that are playing like a striker. Exactly. So thinking how they will play with their strikers is actually a very, very good game to look to. Okay, let's see how that will pan out. Now let's talk about a good news. Yes, good because the surgery was successful, and that's about Cameroonian, or did I say Cameroonian? Ivorian striker rather, Sebastian Haller, who plays for Borussia Dortmund, used to play for West Ham as well as Ajax, made a 31 million euros move to Borussia Dortmund earlier this month. Unfortunately, before he could even kick a ball, he was diagnosed with testicular tumor and had to undergo surgery. The surgery was successful, but will be out for months. As a matter of fact, it's indefinite. No one knows when he will return, but the club is saying he will be out for months. Where does this leave Dortmund? I mean, they signed him to replace Haaland. It was only a training session, and they discovered, he was diagnosed with that because he complained he was feeling pains and all. Now the transfer window is almost closed, and it leaves them with very few options going into a major season where they're still playing underdogs to Bayern Munich as well as RB Leipzig. Where does this leave them? I think it's going to be a very difficult situation for them because when they were getting Sebastian Haller, he's a very, I think he was one of the top goal scorers in all of Europe. So they had all their mind in him. So having injury, it's going to be a big problem for them because looking at getting a good striker, a quality striker at a lower amount
of money,
it's going to be a very big problem for them because quality strikers now are very expensive. The transfer market for this season is extremely expensive. So I think I heard some rumors of them going for Zeko and one other striker.
Inter Milan is not ready to leave.
So I think it's going to be a serious problem for them getting a striker before the end of the transfer window, a quality striker, because they are looking for a starter. A 9 in their first 11.
Exactly.
And looking at going head to head with Bayern, with Leipzig, I think it's going to be a very difficult transfer window for them getting a striker.
It will be you know it will be difficult, but it's not impossible. The transfer window is still open for a few more days, although the window is definitely closing in on Borussia Dortmund getting a suitable replacement for Sebastian Haller. Well, let's move on from there and talk about another striker, and that's Luis Suarez, who has rejoined his boyhood club Nacional in Uruguay. He's back home. The 35-year-old joins on a free transfer. Good decision. I mean, Suarez is 35 and is still relatively hot, you know, on the market. Why go back home?
To me, I'm thinking maybe he wants to retire like next season or next 2 seasons, and is looking at it like, okay, probably I should just give my last days to the club that actually believed in me and brought me out in the first place. So I think that's what he is thinking. Maybe he's going to retire soon, because if he still wants to be competitive, I'm very sure he wouldn't have gone there.
MLS is still hot. China is there. The money is there.
Money is there. So I think he's just thinking of retiring, and he wants to give his last days to them.
Okay, he joined Nacional as an 18-year-old way back as a 2005 and scored 10 goals for them in 27 league games to help them win the Uruguayan title at the time. Then he left for Groningen in the Dutch Eredivisie a year later before moving from there to join Ajax. And you know the story, from Ajax to Liverpool, Liverpool to Barcelona, Barcelona to Atletico Madrid, where helped Atletico Madrid win the Spanish La Liga title 2 seasons ago. Luis Suarez, definitely one of the best strikers of his generation. You can't take it away from him. But he's back home. Home, they say, is where the heart is. And it seems at 35 years old, that's where his heart is.